Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme, Peter Joseph here, for video number 2 on your late Thursday night, January the 9th, 2025. Thank you all for watching right here on Metal God 669. Make sure you like the video and subscribe right now. And that's that. Alright, no big spiel, as I always do on the channel. If you're here for the first time, well, welcome. First of all, welcome to the channel. Hope you subscribe and I hope you like the video and all that stuff. If you're here for the first time, it is the Metal Guy channel. I do talk about metal. I have some music videos up on the channel that you might know and love. Blah, 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 from concerts I actually attend and work at. So check those out. And I also do some, I did a top 10 songs that make me cry and stuff like that. But I have some metal videos, but most of the channel is tribute videos to the faithful departed in the world of wrestling, music, movies, sports, and everything in between. So check those out, and that's pretty much it for that. And I don't do these for clout. I don't do these to get 6 million fucking views, or however many views I get. If it gets a lot of views, great, but if it doesn't, that's fine too. But I don't do any of my videos for clout. If you think I do, then you're a mindless dumb fuck. But because you can't get any either, so you can't get any views, period. Because if it's off my name, then, it is what it is. But anyway, minus all that, if you're here for the first time, welcome. I hope you like the channel and all that other stuff. But moving away from that, ladies and gentlemen, on this late Thursday night, January the 9th, 2025, like I said, right here on the Metal God channel. Well, we have another death in the wrestling realm. I think this is my first actual video. I have to look back on that, but I think this is my first actual death video or tribute video of 2025. I know there's been a couple other deaths earlier in the last 9 days, but we move on from that. So check out the last couple of videos I've done recently, so on this channel, and you'll see that. But I got home a little while ago because I was out with the missus and a few friends, because I have a life. And I came home and was resting and sitting down, resting, and while Rosa was in the shower and everything. And I was looking on my phone, and I go on Twitter, and I go down my feed and everything, and I see Dustin Rhodes, who I follow on Twitter, and you should too. Dustin Rhodes put up a tweet about Black Bart. Now there was some news about Black Bart, who was dealing with stage 4 colon cancer, and he was in hospice, and they kind of took him out of hospice, and returned home to face further treatment. But Dustin Rhodes, about an hour or so ago on his Twitter, announced the sad passing of Black Bart. So Black Bart has passed away due to stage 4 colon cancer that spread into his liver. Oh, that's not good. And he was a longtime veteran in the wrestling business. He passed away earlier tonight at the age of 76. His wife Linda shared the news a few hours ago, and this is what she said, and I quote, "You might know him as Black Bart, but to me he was my husband Ricky. he left us this morning. So he died this morning, but we found out the news earlier this evening, I should say. He left us this morning. He was pronounced dead at 5:26 a.m. this morning. Ouch. And he is resting in peace. So, so my condolences go out to his family and to Linda, his wife, and another tragic loss in the world of professional wrestling. And not the greatest week to have a death, because we have the 3-year anniversary of Jay Briscoe's passing in 2020. I think it's the 3 years. 2022 he passed away, I believe. So that's not fun. And then, Mark Briscoe's birthday, Jay Briscoe's birthday, pretty much on the same exact day. So, it's not going to be a happy birthday for Mark, because he lost his brother Jay, a couple years ago, and they're exactly the same age, 40 years old this weekend, and we miss Jay to death, like we miss Bray Wyatt, Brody Lee, Terry Funk, people like that. So it's just a really sad time to be a wrestling fan. If you've been a long-time wrestling fan like I am, I'm 48. I just turned 48. I've been watching wrestling since I was a little bitty Hulkster dude. Since like 1980, basically. So, long time. Long time. Pretty much 45 years. When I was like 3-4 years old, watching early, the AWA, World Class Championship Wrestling, the early days of the NWA, the early days of the WWF before it became the WWF, and, going to WrestleMania 1, my first actual wrestling event, and then went to WrestleMania 3, which was closed circuit at the Nassau Mausoleum, the first one, not the new one, but, so, I've been a wrestling fan for a very long time. I actually got into business for a little while, not a lot, like about a few months. I did go to wrestling school, so I do know the ins and outs of the wrestling business, because I watch wrestling, I know shoots and works and twerks and stuff like that. The innuendos and stuff like that. So I watched pretty much almost every promotion that's come out since the 1980s, so WCW, WWF, Ring of Honor, TNA, ECW, started to watch GCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, started watching that in 2009. TNA since the inception, basically. So, and Ring of Honor pretty much since 2006. But I don't know a lot about the earlier days from 2000, when it first started, up to when I started going to the Hammerstein Ballroom upstairs at the Grand Ballroom. So, it is what it is. But anyway, so, that's that. So, I'm a long-time wrestling fan, so this kind of hits my childhood a little bit. Not too much, but it is what it is. But, Black Bart was a member of the WWF/WWE family, so I assume that tomorrow night on SmackDown, we're going to get an in memoriam, or Joe Tessitore and Bad News Wade Barrett, who's now on SmackDown because Corey Slade went to NXT. So they're going to probably right before SmackDown goes on the air, or sometime during the show, they'll throw up that in memoriam to Black Bart. And I assume that Collision on Saturday night will do that as well. And maybe on Raw too, this Monday night, on Netflix. But we'll see. But anyway, a little bit of backstory for Black Bart, for those of you who don't know who the hell he is. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Black Bart announced his illness on March 23rd, 2023 on his Facebook page. He said, and I quote, "Well, I'm not quite sure where to start except to just spit it out of the way I usually do. I don't want rumors to start, so here's the truth. I was diagnosed today with stage 4 colon cancer. It spread to my liver. I'm not the kind of guy to just roll over and play dead, so you all should know that. I will fight until I can't fight no more. since I'm a child of God and He is in my heart always, and I believe I have a head start, I will see the oncologist next week, start chemo, ASAP. The main thing I ask from my Facebook people is for prayers, because I believe we can all use some extra prayers, and I will post updates when I can. So that was that. So the wrestling world started the rally around him pretty much since then. Legendary, I don't even know if it's in the Hall of Fame, but legendary WWF wrestler Sam Houston, one of Black Bart's colleagues, they did a tribute show for him for East Texas Wrestling Alliance, the ETWA, on August 12th, 2013, which, like I said, reunited some of his colleagues, including Sam Houston Wrestling, of course, in Texas, Alex Pug Porto, Rod Price, Iceman Parsons, not that Iceman, but, the Dean Malenko Iceman, but, the real Iceman, not my good buddy Jeffrey Rose, but the Iceman Parsons, Reverend Slick, should be a Hall of Famer soon, and Debbie Combs, no relation to Ray Combs or anybody like that. Then at the 2024 Cauliflower Alley Club reunion, Black Bart was announced as a surprise recipient of the Courage Award, which was accepted and delivered to Black Bart by his good buddy JBL, which I'll get to in a minute. And now here's the Black story. See, he started in wrestling in 1975 at not the old age, but the kind of young age of 27, and he competed for 31 years, finally retiring in 2006 at 58. Competed in a number of promotions, some of the most notable being All Japan, not New Japan, All Japan, AJPW, All Japan Pro Wrestling, WCW for a little bit, WWE/WWF. He went by Black Bart Johnson, Big Train Bart, Hangman Harris. I don't even think that's where Hangman Page got his identity, but Hangman Harris, Man Mountain Mike Harris, and El Lobo. Not Lobo from CCW, but, El Lobo. Gene Abel, in the Columbia Record in July of 1985, had a good description of Black Bart looking at the legitimacy of pro wrestling. He said, and I quote, "Black Bart, an ugly slob of a man, 280 pounds with long, lank hair." I don't know what lank means, but I think it's like, not like my hair, but maybe less than that, but anyway. If you see a picture of Black Bart in the 80s, you would get that reference. Anyway. Excuse me, anyway. In the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Benny Ann Stout described Bart, and she said, "Black Bart rides into Will Rogers," I guess that's like a restaurant back then, "and circles the ring on a horse, an old grayer than Joan Collins without Miss Clairol horse." Okay, everybody hoots and hollers at Bart, and while shaking his branding iron at everybody, he says, and I quote, "Shut up or I'll stick this where the sun don't shine." Up the keister, if you know what I mean. And I don't think he meant Carlsbad Caverns. Now this Black Bart character is a cowboy type, but he looks a lot like Bruiser Brody. Legendary man, God rest his mighty soul, would if you stuck him in a hydraulic press. Damn. So, he was a character back then in the, in the 80s and I think early 90s. But anyway, Sam Houston said in the Wrestling Epicenter in 2009, "Our matches were so brutal, so involved and so real, but I had nothing but the highest respect for him, and they had wars. I've seen some highlights of their matches, holy shit. And you thought Bruiser Brody and Abdul the Butcher was crazy." Just saying. Manny Fernandez, we all know who he is, talked about working with Black Bart in GWF, Global Wrestling Federation. He says, "We had an amazing crew. I used to love to listen to Black Bart. says, I'm not gonna wrestle these stiff young guys anymore. And he'd go out there and bust his ass, and I say, I thought you weren't gonna wrestle those stiff young guys anymore. And he goes, shut up! He was a character. He really was. Talked about his WWE run not being as successful as it was. It could have been in, he said in July of last year in the Wrestling Epicenter, and he said, I was supposed to go there for a 3-day trial years before at a job working in the Crockett promotion, and I didn't want to lose that if they found out they would have fired me. They wanted me for a tryout because they didn't know if they wanted to hire Black Bart after I put basically 25 years of my life at that point. Then they don't hire Black Bart. They didn't tell me that. They were going to put me and Outlaw Ron Bass together as the Long Riders. I remember that. Holy crap. In the the late 80s, early 90s. Crazy. And Outlaw Ron Bass was a psycho. I remember that feud he had with Bruce the Barber Beefcake when he took his spur and just started going to town on Bruce the Barber Beefcake's face and busted him wide open. I think it was on Wrestling Challenge or Superstars of Wrestling, and McMahon's like, what the hell? There was McMahon or Gorilla Monsoon going completely berserk on commentary. That was nasty. But yeah, the Long Riders were, a good tag team back then. And having Sarah Joe, his wife at the time, Bonnie, Sarah Joe was his manager. I think it's a love interest or something like that. And J.J. Dillon, we don't remember him as their manager. They didn't tell me none of that. When I finally did go to WWF/WWE, I was making top money. He says, brother McMahon, Vince McMahon, was giving me top money, but then I started getting over, and Vince was like, no. And then some of the agents started wanting me on the house shows to go on in the 7th or 8th match on the card, because that was the cool-down matches before the main event. They knew I could jack the crowd up, and I always could, but Vince said no. Then 4 days before Operation Desert Storm, back in the 90s, started, Vince gave me and 16 other guys our notice, basically cut them, fired them, released, and Vince told me I should have come when he wanted me before, not when Vince said, oh, come on in. So like I said, he wrestled for WWF, World Class Championship Wrestling, and the short-lived Global Wrestling Federation. He said, between ESPN and the Channel 11 Superstation, not the CW, way before that, we're being seen all over the U.S. It amazed me over the years to have people from all over the country say they saw us doing our thing from that time. He retired from in-ring competition in 2002, but he did return to activity in 2006, worked the indie circuit for a couple years, and then pretty much was done, I think, in 2009. So we got that. He was born January the 30th, 1948 in Texarkana, Arkansas. And his real name is Richard Harris. He had long black hair, stood 6'4", weighing in at a mean, lean, chiseled and jacked 350 pounds. He was trained by Charlie Fulton, Gene Lewis, and Genichiro Tenryu. Remember him? I know Tenryu from the Japan days. That's all Japan, I think it was. But got that. I'm not going to go into much more of his career. I mean, you could just look it up. But anyway, January 2024, Bart teamed with Vincent Barry on his autobiography, Wrestle Black Bart. Told stories about Dick Murdoch, he was a maniac. Dick Murdoch, who loved to badger Black Bart. Friends and fans followed along with Bart's declining health on Facebook, where he was very active. And his wife, Linda, noted on October the 25th of last year, couple months ago that Bart's eyesight had begun to fail and she was unable to read every note sent into him. And then on December 17th, a few weeks ago from this date, she posted that her husband had returned home, accepting his fate, so he took him out at a hospice to let him pass away at home, to be with his loved ones. Linda said Bart was brought home today. He still isn't able to walk, but he isn't making any progress in rehab, so the insurance will not continue to pay for him. He has told me that he doesn't want any more chemo. He feels that it's doing more damage than good, and I have to back him up on that. So, right after that, right around October, when he announced that he had stage 4 colon cancer and it spread to his liver, it was pretty much, the date was going to be coming eventually. So Linda and her family were getting ready, even though he was still in hospice. It was, eventually he was still on chemo until, October, a couple months ago, and then, he didn't want to do any more chemo, so he knew that his time was coming, that the Lord, our Savior Jesus Christ, was going to take him, so he wanted to be home to pass away with his family and there, so. Not the greatest thing, but it is what it is. Linda continues on and says he doesn't feel that he has given up. He's just not putting any more poison in his body. That's what chemo does. He is completely in God's hands now, and God's will be done. And further details on his passing, not exactly known at this time. So, that's pretty much it for that. Alright, so that is it for my tribute to Black Bart, who passed away this morning at the age of 76 due to stage 4 colon cancer, which spread into his liver. They took him out of hospice a couple weeks ago, and he pretty much died at his home in front of his wife and family. So, not the greatest day in the world of wrestling. I lost another member of the wrestling family. So, I don't have what I usually do, I have a ceremonial drink, but this time I don't. So, it is what it is. But, so Black Bart, you are a great wrestler, sir. I didn't really follow your career that much, but I did remember you with Outlaw Ron Bass on the Long Riders back in the late 80s, early 90s, and WWF. But a great man, a great wrestler, sadly passes away at 76 to, that C word that we hate saying, cancer, fucking cancer, but, it is what it is. I wish there was a cure for it. We don't know when there will be a cure for it. Probably all of us, me and others that are a little bit older than me, and even people younger than me, by the time they grow up and they pass away, and when me and others that are a little bit older eventually pass away, I think we'll finally, like the 22nd century, like the year 2100 or something like that, maybe before that, hopefully, we'll finally get a cure for cancer and other deadly diseases that we can't cure, like dementia and, stuff like that. But, medicine's always evolving, and there's new vaccines and stuff that kind of work, kind of don't, but, they're still testing it in animals, and eventually, hopefully, if that works, we'll get vaccines for people that are pretty much at stage 3, stage 4, or stage 5 cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer. So hopefully we'll get that fixed, and then dementia, and Alzheimer's disease, and stuff like that. That really can't be cured. So, but hopefully in the next 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years, we'll get some type of cure for some of these deadly diseases. But right now, you can't do anything about it. But it's sad that we lose a member of the wrestling family, and that's it. So, to Black Bart, rest in peace, sir. And I'll take a moment of silence to honor and respect the memory of one great legend, and that is Black Bart. So, rest in peace, sir. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want, leave your comments down below. If any memories of Black Bart. And that's that. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. And until next time, just remember, live life at 90%, the other 10%. I don't know. That's what DDP always says. But live life to the fullest. Live, take each day as it comes, because you never know when it'll be our last day. And we don't know when the Lord, our Savior, Jesus Christ, and God himself will call our number. And even if we're not ready to go, and we don't want to leave our loved ones and friends and others behind, we have to go eventually. We can't live forever. I wish we could. We don't have Dragon Balls. We don't have the Fountain of Youth or anything like that. We don't have, get a wish to give us immortality. I wish we did, but we don't. That's not how God made the world. I wish, that was the case, then we'd be all living to like 200, 300, 500 years old. But, we have a set number, and when God calls our number, whenever it may be, and how it may be, I hope it's under natural causes, and not like to, getting shot, or getting, run over by a car, or dying in a plane crash, or whatever, be better off dying from natural causes instead of cancer and Alzheimer's disease and stuff like that. But can't control that. I wish we could, but, some people live a healthy life, and, they live to like 90, 100, some people the 100, some people even around a little in the 110s. I think the oldest living person that passed away, I think it was around 115, 118, I think. So, you can live to over 100 and still kind of live a healthy life. I've seen people that are still in wheelchairs. They look great for like 100. Even Betty White, she died at 99, sadly. She still looked great. We just lost Jimmy Carter a couple of days ago, and he was 100. They just had his funeral, I think, with all the presidents were there, like Obama, Trump. I don't think Bill Clinton was there, because he was on the he was in the news that he was a little bit sick, so we had to worry about Bill Clinton and everything. But still don't know if he's okay or not. I hope he is, but we'll see what happens with that. But live life every day as it comes. Take each day as it comes, because we never know when it'll be our last day. And that's pretty much it. Alright, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, God bless you all. Black Bart, rest in peace. Until next time, peace.